Hello, welcome to Flory Models Daily Show. Here we are on Wednesday the 8th of June 2016, and today we finished off the engine, all done. Editing, massive, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But anyway, first of all, big thank you for everybody who joined us last night for our monthly Q&A with the guys that we had in here. Lots of fun and giggles and all the rest of it. To answer the question about why can it not be live straight away, it's the way it's done. It's in a higher format, higher quality. If it plays it straight away afterwards, it's in a horrible, like 480, gritty, you can't see anything. So what I do is hold it back until it is ready in HD format, and that can take 4 hours, and because it's night time, I'm not going to sit up till 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning and wait for it to come over. I know I should do, it's my job, but so anyway, what I tend to do is come down here in the morning and there it is. I say on the little tagline, allow 24 hours, that's just to cover any eventuality. It's usually up the next day and you can watch it in full screen and all the goodies and all the bits and pieces like that. But I must thank obviously Adam, John, Ron and obviously Steve for joining me for a giggle and all the rest of it, and obviously Adam doing his bit. Now I will edit that up into a proper thing, a proper video, but because like today I've spent literally all afternoon editing and I'm almost there for this guy, and then obviously we've got reviews tomorrow and things like that, it's probably going to be nearer the weekend before I can get around to even having a look at it, let alone editing it. But I will do it. It's very interesting. Adam is turning into our weathering god, doing on his Volkswagen Beetle, okay, and everything else like that. Anyway, I've been working on this and this is how we got on today. Hello, welcome to Flory Models Wednesday vlog. Thank you very much for last night. I had a great show, live show. We were on air for I think about 2.5 hours. Loads of fun, laughter, games. Adam did some pigment work, showing a new technique, things like that. He also showed using the wash to do dirty windows and everything else on that great Beetle he's working on. As you might have seen if you watched it live, I did have it recording off of the big cameras as well. So what I'll probably do is try and edit that at some point this weekend. But say it's quite a long process the way he did it. So what I'll do is I'll edit it down a little bit more concise, and also obviously if you're watching live he wants stills off of it so he can put it as part of his build. Mainly today I'm going to be cracking on this morning on the exhaust. Now I've got to do the exhaust for the engine. To be honest, I'm very, very pleased with it. It's coming out absolutely fantastic. So we can get the exhausts onto it this morning. Then this afternoon, I'll have a go at trying to edit it all so you can have it tonight. Now, I'm not saying I will be because there's a lot of footage to go through on this. It's been going to be 4 days work with me doing it now. So I've got to edit 4 days down to hopefully around about an hour, hour and a half, something else like that. So it could take a while, and then it's got to render and upload all the bits and pieces. So the chances of it being up to date are pretty remote, but it'll definitely be up with you tomorrow. But we can give you a little bit of a look. If you can see it down here, this is if it locks in. So as you can see, we've got all the wiring work into this guy now. And as I say, it's very tricky to even hold, but very happy of how it's come out. It seems to be really, really well. The hardest part, to be honest, was doing all of the wiring that you can see around it. But hopefully if the camera's going to play ball, I don't know, it seems to be messing a little bit. Come on, there we go. It doesn't like working this close, but as you can see we've got the wiring on all the engine, and then obviously we've got all the parts around it. Okay, then over here at the back, and if I can get it to lock in up here, there we go. So you can see all the parts on it. So really what we're after now is the actual exhaust. If we get the exhaust done for it, as I say, I'll be really, really happy with it. And then what we can actually do is get the final bits done for it and we can move on like that. But generally, I have to say, I am enjoying this way of doing it as well. It seems to be, the camera's going to lock in, yeah, there we go. It seems to be easier for me as well. The only thing is, to say, it worries me you're not going to have anything on the specific day. So there may be instances where you don't get it. Like today you might not be getting it, and it might have to be a couple more days with some of them, purely because it's different. Instead of me doing a 30-minute video, this one's going to be an hour and a half, I reckon, by the time we get this one done. It could even be longer, and everything else. So you might have to bear with it. It may not be, as we've always done, Monday there's a video, Tuesday some type of live, Wednesday's a video, Thursday is a review, Friday a review, and obviously end of thing. So it might vary a little bit, but hopefully it's a lot easier, and your feedback has been fantastic about it's easier to find and everything else like that. So I'm going to crack on with this one this morning, see if we can get it finished up, and then we're going to spend an afternoon editing. Okay, and there we go. We are completed. Let me just put this down and over here, because to be honest, absolutely covered in silver doing this stuff. Okay, so we've fitted the exhaust onto this one and actually have just finished doing the actual engine. So I have to say, when you watch the actual proper video of this, the Edard resin set, this one is probably the best engine I've worked on. It is absolutely sublime. It works, it goes together so easily. The instructions are very clear as well, I have to say, and it just works. The detail is absolutely incredible. So if I bring you over here, hopefully the camera's going to play ball on this, but this is our engine and it's done, and we've got our exhausts. I'll just remove that. We put this over here. Hopefully this will work. There we go. So that's a bit better. So now you can see we have our exhausts on. Put those onto it. Come on, stay with it. That's it. Okay, and as you can see, really worked very nice. Simple job. It was literally just a pigment scrub right over the top of the actual exhausts themselves and everything else. So generally that completes our builds now into this guy. As I said, the video should be up. Well, I'm going to start editing it now, to be honest. If it's up tonight, it will be a major miracle. If not, it'll be with you tomorrow. But generally, I have to say, very happy how these exhausts turned out and everything else. It just worked really, really well. And like I say in the video, it's just one of those things, I think, where a little bit of time spent down on here. Okay, yeah, technically, from my point of view, it's like 3 days work. But it's time very well spent, because this is going to be the focal point of the model. Engines do tend to be, and everything else like that, but generally it should be straightforward fit into it, and then it will just be a case of making sure that everyone can see it, getting the doors open nice and wide and everything else like that, so then that way it's very well shown off to its best potential. But there we go. I must admit, looking at it on camera, it's one of those things, you know, I know the guy said it on the show, but trying to do it justice is very, very difficult on camera like this, but hopefully it is picking it up. Very happy how those exhausts came out though, because as I said, simple little job. Again, 2-second flush, scrub with the pigments. We used a little bit of the medium earth on there and a little bit of light rust, just to give us that effect, because I was saying that rust isn't really, I think, you know, one of those things where rust can be overdone. You know, I think that people tend to rust these up. I'm under the mindset that it's probably not that old an engine. Let's face it, it's the latter part of the war. They haven't got time to rust. All the reference photos and the ones I've got of it show it really rusty, but they've been hanging around for 70 years, so they would have gone rusty. So I'm doing it with more of a modern look and everything else like that. So there we go, that's the engine done. Okay, I'm gonna now go off and spend probably, I think we're gonna be a minimum of sort of 6 hours editing this lot together. It's almost, well, it's 3.5 days of videoing going to be edited down into probably an hour, hour and a half, but we'll see how we go with this one. So that is about it for me today. But again, this week, another good week to getting this one done. Going to crack on with the Osprey tomorrow morning. I'm going to try and get it deckled and everything else like that, so that one's pushing ahead very nicely. And then obviously tomorrow is review days, and we've got, if you can see them over there, but we've got over there, don't know which one to do yet. I was probably going to do the Russian T90. It's the modernised version, purely because it looks that nice. And then we've got out there either going to be the MiG-29, or we've got the Su-9, or we've actually got the MiG-27 Flory D in there as well. And obviously what I'm going to do the week after, we've got the G5 Profi one, because I've got extra parts for it as well. I've got a G5 cockpit, so we're going to do that as like a super one to show you all the different options. So there we go, that's it from me, and I'll catch you in tonight's show. So yeah, I have to say, this is probably my best bit of work. I know it's one of those things you shouldn't sort of, you know, judge yourself like that, but I can honestly say I think this is my best bit of work for doing an engine, at least. But I think a lot of that is the Edard resin set. It really is good. It's one of those kit sets which goes together really, really well. Fiddly as hell. The wiring, admittedly, many a times, if you watch the build video of this one, you'll see me working with tiny pieces of brass pipe, putting them in, and they kept falling off and going on. That was for doing one. It took 5 minutes. Then times it by, what we got on here, there's 14. And then so it'll be 28 of those to go on. So again, it's one of those things, time consuming. it's mindset, I reckon. Set yourself up a goal to say, today I'm going to do this bit to it, I'm going to do that bit to it, and that way you're not going to stress out too much with it. But I have to say, it's absolutely fantastic, and hopefully if I've done this correctly, you are getting some little bit of pictures and everything else from this one, which I literally shot just 10 minutes ago, which are going to be the reveal video on the end of this particular one. It is fantastic. Hopefully it's going to look absolutely stunning into our Focke-Wulf 190 sort of super build for this summer. It's one of those things, I think engines are a bit like modern aircraft cockpits, because everybody loves a good engine, let's face it, and I think it's a focal point of your model, and I think that people then will obviously be drawn to it with what I call the magpie effect, i.e. it's aluminium, it's got some sparkle to it, it's got cables on it, the eye is drawn to detail, and that's what's happened. And that's what I say, with modern aircraft it tends to be a cockpit, a nicely lit up, done cockpit with harnesses on the seat belts. Because of the glass work, your eye is automatically drawn with it. World War II, because the cockpits tend to be quite enclosed in those particular aircraft, but the engine, now that's a different story, and that's what the eye is drawn to. So next up for this particular one, obviously next week we're going to be carrying on, so we're going to be working on the spinner prop, because there's a replacement spinner prop and props for this one, so we're going to do that. We're also going to work on the flap setup, and we've got the undercarriage as well to get it going as well. Then once we've done that, we've got the gun deck still to go on this one, and then once we've done all of that, hopefully we can put the entire thing together, and we're going to end up with something hopefully quite spectacular at the end of it. But anyway, this one will be up with you tomorrow. I'm going to put it up on the site tomorrow. Obviously I haven't got time to get it up today because it'll take probably 3-4 hours to render. YouTube will sit on it for at least 4 hours as well before it's ready, so it isn't going to be up tonight, but it will be up with you tomorrow, I can assure you, and it'd be well worth having a look. So this is now going to be classified as our engine build as well, so if you wanted to know about weathering, building, aftermarket engines, or just engines in detail, then you'll be able to find this one on the Flory Models site as well as a standalone. I've got to tweak the editing. At the moment we're just over an hour and 3/4. I'm going to try and re-edit it down to around about an hour and a half, so it's going to be the equivalent of a 3-parter with this. So you're doing quite well. It's like 6 parts in 2 weeks, so but definitely well worth it, and please have a go and have a look at it. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I've got a review, so I'm actually going to do probably the T90 modernised kit tomorrow. We've got this particular guy, I've got some great kits in, so this one will be up with you tomorrow because I do love it. It's very futuristic. I love the sleek lines, the sloping armour and everything else like that on this particular guy. So I'm going to review this particular kit, so that'll be up with you tomorrow. And then on Friday we've got another kit review, which might be the Flogger, might be the MiG-29, not too sure which one I'm going to do like that, but we're going to do obviously one bit of armour, one bit of aircraft, and then obviously you can see this guy tomorrow. So until tomorrow everybody, happy modelling, take care.